might be a meta changer from both of these teams, with Akali now banned away immediately from Alliance.
Yeah, Kali wasn't being picked up in the previous round when it comes down to QWQ versus the likes of Team Secret. But, you know, as much as the nerves comes into effect, the perfect execution is such a strong tool for you to wipe off anybody who has low HP bars. Now, no Janna in this game, as well as Alliance have already eliminated all these uncertainties. But Amihan Esports look to go further down the list by banning out 2 explosive junglers out of Alliance. And that will be the first pick coming for CWJ, taking the Camille. And in response, that will be the Renton as a solid pick for either the Baron lane, or could it be a mid lane Renton?
That's indeed going to be the question. It's a flexible champion to pick up. And on top of that, speaking of flexible, we have a Gragas to follow through for Amihan Esports as well. Alliance now picking up onto Galio and Saya means that they have a lot of escape route. And when it comes to the 5v5, you have Galio to go all in with a hero's entrance to go for the fat man knockup. And that is something that needs to be respected. But to follow through is going to be a Jarvan 4 that is then picked up by Amihan Esports as their 3rd pick for the 2nd rotation.
I'm looking at this Jarvan pickup here coming from Amihan Esports, and I still could not forget what Team Secret has brought forward with this really formidable side being shown right in. If the Cataclysm lands, they still have to take note of, you know, the potential of a drop coming out of that Galio. That's where the Tristana comes into effect to buster shot anybody who's going to be in the way. A final pick comes in from Alliance, and that would be Twisted Fate alongside with the Fiora, which means that this Camille goes into the jungle. And I know that you are excited for that final Leona pickup for the support role of Amihan Esports.
This is untraditional, but we saw in patch 2.3a that Leona has been buffed up with the range of Zenith Blade increased by 0.5. Now it has been an 8th range already. So that is to follow up for a Leona that's going to be very aggressive when it comes to this game 1 of the Group B. And now we're jumping in just shortly off the top 1 seed of Singapore versus top 1 seed of the Philippine region in the Summer Super Cup.
Oh boy. Group B is going to be absolutely lit up here with this first game coming up from Alliance as well as Amihan Esports. But over on the bottom side,
Flash already.
Oh, this is no good news at all for the marksman of Alliance. But over here, Amihan Esports opts to set up a 2-man push up the mid side, just shoving this wave upon Raven.
And considering that Gragas went into the mid lane, that is also quite expected for Carl to support this sort of melee champion into the mid lane, because that is a Twisted Fate that you're fighting against. Raven is a range champion, and if you're matching it up against a Gragas when it comes to level 1, you cannot pull it through. And if you're looking at it, 40 seconds into the matchup already, Mitsura half HP, and this is what I'm saying with the range advantage and disadvantage coming into the game number 1.
Oh boy.
But Carl, it's gonna be very low, actually forcing out the barrier, but now it's gonna be the flash for flash. Minion will put it through, but the first blood will come to the side of Amihan Esports.
Oh boy, Carl was so close to be dropped right there. Alliance had to take a little bit of a 50-50 split decision whether or not to dive or, you know, take a little bit of a loss, and now Amihan Esports will have a slight lead coming into the first minute and a half. And I also do like what this chip they have also brought up once again. Oh boy, TWJ took another takedown from Amihan Esports.
Now Amihan Esports, they're just waiting for the right opportunity, because if you're thinking about it, Alliance went in for a single champion into the Baron lane and no support came through. And I think that is what Amihan Esports is thinking. You know what? We have the knowledge that Alliance might actually go elsewhere aside from the Baron lane, and that is what happened now. It's gonna be the Baron lane. TWJ is gonna be pinned down, and Amihan Esports went for the 3-man roam to put him down. It's gonna be a 3-2.
Wow, I did not expect this sort of tempo of play coming from Amihan Esports, absolutely shutting down that Fury from doing anything, and all Rocket jumps away, and here comes another fly.
The flash is now going to save Arcus' life, and Amihan Esports will stay alive. Alliance will get nothing away from that engagement.
Really take down on the top. And as much as there was some quality of life changes when it comes down to how much of resistance coming in the turret, this will be a solo support that's over to the bottom side. I don't think there's any way that Ultras could have made it out.
Yeah, it's a four-man roam from Alliance. We have a lot of CCs. The Hulk trap was used. Raven was there as well to go for the stun, to go for the CC chain, and Orcros was just nowhere to go elsewhere. He didn't have his flash available because he used it a while ago, and therefore, he's dead. He's nowhere to go, and now Alliance got their first kill of this series.
Just look at the items right now. You can see that Amihan Esports has established 2 gargoyle enchantments right there, and this is usually something that we don't see from the rest of the regions where they will prioritize on the stuff. But oh my goodness, here comes another.
Destiny is not going to be casted down. CCs are now coming in from Raven to try and go to support the fight. Tristana will be there to get the kill, make it 1-for-1 as Alliance make it back. As Jelson will fall down, it's Rich, and Jelson's gonna say bye-bye in this engagement. It's now gonna be the 4-2 in favor of Amihan Esports.
A very poor start coming from Alliance, and we could understand why. The pressure coming out of Misura on this mid lane Gragas has been roaming across the map alongside with Jelson to really put pressure onto the side lanes. And now with a slight deficit, I do believe that Alliance can still make a little bit of a comeback when it comes down to the contest. Perhaps I'm looking at the very first Drake here that has already seen spawn up, and that will be the Mountain Drake that will help them a whole lot in survivability.
Definitely, still too early into the match, but now it's going to be the flag that's dragged from Jelson. Actually going for the 2-man knockup. You have Mitsura going into the fray, go for the support. It's going to be Hero's entrance to go for the knockup. There is a kill towards Alliance as Raven gets one, but the fight's not going to be over. 3-man taunt from Alliance, making it through and through. Rich is there to go for the support as 2-for-1 in favor of Alliance in that engagement as they came back from their gold deficit. Still an 800 gold lead from Amihan Esports though.
Both sides are actually going blow for blow right now. Well, this will be a priority on the Lich Bane for Mitsura so that you could easily just proc it with any of the spells, and already securing that 3 assists is going to be having him, of course, establishing a little bit more of an early burst potential when you just go all in with the Lich Bane already in effect. Now, Amihan focuses on to the Dragon right now. Will be spotted out by the Orb for the moment, but SSK is looking perhaps to dive right in for Cheeky Steal.
But it's not going to happen as Amihan Esports gets the Mountain Dragon in their favor. Anything Alliance is known or was known to have, a split push. Risk out the Mountain Dragon, the Cloud Dragon, to then go for the Tower First Blood. But considering Amihan Esports got the Tower First Blood a while ago, this is not the case for them. It's now going to be Amihan Esports diving into the bot lane. Destiny is going to be forced out as well. It's now 4v2 in favor of Alliance as Hextech Ultimatum is now going to be forced out. Galio will say bye-bye as there will be another kill for Alliance, making it a 6-6. The gold is going to be even.
Boy, here comes more members coming right in.
It's gonna be Leona going for the stun in that matchup. Sai will get the double kill. Tristana will fall down. Ultras will be forced to flash away as that will be another kill for Alliance, making them a lot more gold, and they're back into the advantage game.
Not gonna lie, that could have actually been a little bit cleaner for Alliance. They didn't really have to fully put everything on the line just to, of course, get the very first kill. But, of course, they have already made up for a little bit of a loss for that 1-for-1 in exchange, and then eventually getting the second kill as well. Now things have already balanced up. The goalie will be in favor of Alliance at the moment after taking out the turret over down bottom. So there will be a little bit more of a tussle over here for that Rift Herald. A lot of good wards have already been placed by Amihan. So I believe they will need to be looking out for Raven whenever he does have Destiny available.
The division game is lacking towards Alliance. What will they do next is now going to be the question, because the war placements are not going to be available, and Rift Arrows will be secured by Amihan Esports very easily. Another 300 gold for Jelson to utilize, and they're now still back at it, but Alliance still has gold lead.
Yeah, and one thing about putting this Fiora behind is that, heading in towards the late game, a Fiora will still remain to be an issue when it comes down to controlling both the top lane as well as the bottom lane because of her ability to split push so effectively and, of course, get away with it as you can lunge through certain walls across the map. Now, CWJ has just completed his Trinity Force. He was forced to, of course, go in for a very, very early Executioner's Calling just to negate how much of a heal that Carl could actually get from Call the Meek. But Amihan Esports, they will be looking to secure this turret without too much of a problem, but Destiny pops in.
Destiny will actually give them information, but now it's going to be the Hero's Entrance. Goes for the one-man knockup, will not connect onto Water, and that will be the double stun as Amihan Esports will get the dominance in that fight as the explosive cast will actually delay how Alliance wants to go for the retreat as there will be no retreat. That's going to be a 3-4 row. Amihan Esports.
The only thing that Alliance could do is to trade towers right now, having the Fiora trying to take it down, but with the Rift Herald in effect, this is going to be crushing down even the tier 2. So Alliance now is going to lose so much of a map pressure or even control overall.
And Rift Herald is actually catching up onto the inhibitor turret. That's a lot of damage coming through, puts it down into a 2.5k HP remaining. So if ever Carl thinks, you know what, let's go for a split push, I think it's going to be much more easier to really put down to it for the 4-1 setup. But regardless, I think the even standing right now, Amihan Esports has the 2k gold lead. The Cloud Dragon will come up in 17 seconds. And this is relatively an underwhelming or an underrated sort of objective because it only gives you mobility. But when you're considering how Alliance composition has been built up onto the Galio, onto the Fiora, and even having Camille, I think this could be greatly utilized. And in the same way, Amihan will do as well with Carl and Jelson. And even Gragas, they're unavailable to sort of engage against the enemy team. But now it's going to be the mid lane. You know what? 3v3, just a little bit of a lane control from both parties.
As much as you mentioned, the benefits is actually provide towards Alliance. They're actually looking to, of course, trade with more members actually setting up over topside, but with a little bit of a split mindset into things, I believe that Alliance will not even get any sort of turret plating, or, well, that's usually for the tier 1, but heading in towards tier 2 of the top side, it's still left untouched, which is going to be pretty much concerning for the moment. Now, looking back into the itemization, I believe that Demon is already working on that Infinity Edge. So once he does have it, he's going to be hitting hard now. CWJ is looking to escape.
Amihan Esports with a 4-man collapse into the Baron lane. CWJ will be decimated in a blink of an eye. He's gone, and that will be another kill for Amihan Esports.
Lions now losing their members, but here comes another chase coming in. Featherstorm already being pulled up.
Featherstorm was just too early, and that will put Alliance's ADC down. And we have Rich to try and solo the front line. It's going to be the only one remaining to try and defend that engagement, but attack is not attacked with Fed champions from Amihan Esports.
Things are getting a little bit more out of hand right now, but SSK is looking to salvage this. Suzukai probably will only dish a little bit of damage down towards the turret over the bottom side as Amihan looks to rotate and catch this Camille out. So with Destiny being utilized by Twisted Fate, I believe there's only very little room for SSK to escape.
SSK, you're actually going for an aggressive play here, but you will not get away from that aggression as Amihan Esports puts you down into the mid lane. It's going to be the 1v2, 1v3 as the ultimate is now going to be forced away. Jelson is going to go in for the flag and Drag puts down one, making another as ADC of Alliance is going to be the next target for Amihan Esports as we have another kill, and that will be another 3-0 for Amihan Esports.
15-8, and you can tell that Amihan Esports have this team fight prowess right now, and they could definitely expend everything they got just to, of course, shut down Alliance. Now, CWJ is the only one that will be eyeing on this Baron steal, and SSK, he's already TPing in.
Oh, but We have CWJ, low HP for Amihan Esports, a good opportunity to make it out, but Amihan Esports will get the Baron Nashor, of course, presented to you by Globe, and that will be another kill. Raven and Golden Feed, the only one remaining for Alliance, making one more kill for Amihan Esports, as the only one remaining will be the ADC. Amihan Esports is now crashing down, going for the push into the mid lane, opting to go for the tier 2 turret.
A very risky plays coming out of Alliance overall. They're just throwing bodies at him in hopes to actually steal some objectives. But with the boss slam as well, Thunderstorm, he makes it out.
What a play from Mitsura. That was pretty close, as Federstorm will be forced out, as you stated, but that will be a good, valuable ultimate lost by Alliance in that engagement, and that is something that we need to take note if ever a fight once again occurs. But Amihan Esports opts to back away, an ideal move coming in from them.
Carl now overextends for a little bit, and I don't think that he can walk out of that Hextech ultimatum at all, and still, he has managed to go in for the trades, and Amihan Esports is going to be replying this one.
And now it's gonna be the tactical sweep just to delay the fight. Gragas will fall down though, and the Cataclysm will not be enough to lock them all in. It's now gonna be the taunt connecting onto Carl, as Carl gets the kill. The Call of the Meek puts him at the sustainability, gives him more HP. It's now gonna be the push to finish for Amihan Esports as they go to the Nexus base, tries to finish the game, and that will be game number 1 of Group B, won by Amihan Esports.
What a performance coming out of Amihan, and you could clearly see the joy through your screens as they have managed to secure the very first point in their respective group. Alliance did not expect a setup over the Baron lane, and this Fiora was put back into her place, rendering her unable to even fare 1v1 with the Renton that we've seen early on, and deservingly take one of the quickest games that we have seen so far in day 1.
And this is synonymous to their name. Amihan Esports in the Filipino region domestically has played it through and through with an aggressive hyper-aggression game style wherein they really want to dominate when it comes to their game. They want to go in for that all-in type of setup, which they did from a while back. In this game number 1 in the Group B, as you're looking at the standings, it's a 10-23 in favor of Amihan Esports, and throughout the gold graph, it's in favoring of them as well. And this just shows how aggressive they keep on playing. They want to go for the objective, they're gonna take it down. They want to go for a turret, they're gonna take it down. And this is what we might expect sooner or later in the next days, or even in the next matches, from Amihan Esports coming into the Summer Simba Cup.
For Alliance to actually work out this draft real well, they really have to first and foremost secure a solid lead, but it was all being set up perfectly by Mitsuru from the get-go when he went in for a very slight invade,